To prove that humans and zombies can also make tiles, I simply tied up a relatively clean female zombie. Because disaster suddenly struck, nearly 90% of humans mutated into zombies, but I accidentally activated it. A romance strategy system completely unrelated to the apocalypse. At that moment, a strikingly beautiful female zombie suddenly appeared before me without warning. That instantly made me realize that the love system doesn't specify species, right? Besides, letting such a beautiful female zombie go so easily would be a waste. As soon as this thought crossed my mind, I immediately pulled a rope out of my pocket, found the right moment, and swung it hard, catching the female zombie with perfect accuracy. She let out a sharp howl on the spot, but the next second, I forced a piece of burlap into her mouth. Smelling the fresh human presence so close, the zombie went mad on the spot. Her little head desperately tried to lean against me, but I excitedly grabbed her hand. At that moment, the system's notification sound exploded in my mind. Congratulations, host, for completing the hand-holding task. Target of the strategy, Shen Qingwu. Identity, female college student. Safety strategy reward, Gene Evolution Potion. Seeing these generous rewards, my breath instantly quickened. Just the 100 kilograms of meat at the start alone was enough for my uncle and uncle to eat for 2.5 years, not to mention the 2 extraordinary treasures that followed. But the trickiest problem right now was how to increase Shen Qingwu's favorability. After thinking for a moment, I reached out and tore the burlap cloth off Shen Qingwu's mouth. She immediately started screaming at me wildly. Her sharp teeth crunched loudly, sounding chilling. Without hesitation, I pulled out a piece of raw meat from the system space and stuffed it into her mouth. The 4 shouts immediately faded, and she began to tear at the meat frantically. Seeing this scene, I sighed helplessly. With all these sharp teeth, it seems I can't expect a reward for publishing for now. Just then, the door to the next room suddenly opened, and a man and a woman walked out. The woman said, "Hey man, my husband and I haven't eaten for 2 days. You've had so much food you've fed zombies. Can you share some with us too?" They're a newlywed couple. The man was named Shen Liang, the woman Lin Wanxi. Both of them relied on ordering takeout to get by, and their families had no food at all. In my previous life, I just believed their sweet talk and foolishly shared food with them. I thought they would be grateful to me, but they ransacked my room while I was out searching for supplies and locked the door from outside. No matter how much I shouted, they wouldn't open the door. Such ungrateful wretches who repay kindness with betrayal. How could I possibly give them any more food? But Lin Wanxi in front of me could make use of this idea. As soon as this thought arose, the system interface appeared before my eyes. Name, Lin Wanxi. Identity, married. 0 affection. Hand reward, 100 kilograms of fresh fruits and vegetables. Departure reward, a 120 square meter fully furnished apartment. Complete strategy reward, a 1,000 square meter luxury villa. Seeing this reward, I couldn't help but smile slightly. This is 100 kilograms of vegetables and fruit. Although I don't lack food, in the apocalypse, nutrition is balanced. But the most important thing is that the 2 saw me smile and thought I had agreed to their request. Shen Liang made an outrageous demand. First, give us 10 jin of pork, then 3 barrels of purified water. I almost laughed at those 2. When did I ever agree? Even if I had so much food that I couldn't finish it and fed it to the dogs, I would never give it to you ungrateful wretches. After saying that, I pushed Shen Qingwu straight back to the room. Shen Liang glared at me angrily, gritting his teeth. I wanted to make a move but was wary of the zombie next to me. Back in my room, I tied Shen Qingwu up and casually opened the system panel. To my surprise, Shen Qingwu's favorability actually increased by 5 points. I instantly recalled those evolutionary zombies born from the late apocalypse of my previous life. Could Shen Qingwu evolve too? And just for a bit of meat, he managed to raise his favorability to 10. I wanted to keep feeding him in one go, but seeing his round little belly, I decided to do it as is. After stuffing the rag back into his mouth, I started planning the next move, zombie outbreak. In a month, the terrifying cold weather would arrive. I only have a little over 20 days left to prepare. The first thing to deal with is supplies. Food and drink are the top priority for survival, followed by pre-supplies like clothing and medicine. These are manageable, but the most crucial thing is the safe house. I had no clue at all. This safe house not only had to be sturdy, but also maintain a stable temperature in extreme cold. Finding a ready-made building that meets all conditions is nearly impossible than climbing to the sky. As far as I know, there was no place like this in the entire Binhai city. But just then, a sudden inspiration struck me. I remembered Lin Wanxi's first kiss reward and quickly called out to the system in my mind. System, is the house you rewarded ready-made, or can it appear out of thin air? System response. All reward houses are built out of thin air. The host can specify any construction location, What if I have special requirements for houses, like titanium alloy? There are also secret exits, warehouses, and medical communication equipment. These systems are silent for a few seconds and require the host to provide building blueprints. Additionally, communication and medical equipment are not included. The host needs to solve it themselves. This made me absolutely thrilled. So my titanium alloy safe house has a chance. Just then, there was a sudden knock outside the door. Lin Wanshi was standing there all alone. Seeing that no one came to open the door for a long time, his heart was burning with anxiety. At both ends of the pitch-black corridor, who knew if a sudden funeral event might suddenly appear. Just as he was about to give up, the door finally opened. Lin Wanshi's face had just shown a look of joy. She saw the kitchen knife in my hand, and her heart tightened. She quickly explained, "Don't misunderstand, I didn't carry any weapons." I squinted and looked him up and down. Lin Wanshi also noticed that I was scrutinizing him. In the past, he probably would have slapped him long ago, but now, since he needed someone's help, he could only squeeze out a little help. "I want to borrow some food from you." I glanced at him with disdain. "No, I won't let you suffer losses. Just lend me some food." "I'm going to close the door." Lin Wanshi didn't move an inch after hearing this. "Aren't you afraid of a zombie suddenly darting out from outside?" As soon as I finished speaking, a zombie's roar echoed. A voice came from afar. Lin Wanshi's upturned face instantly turned pale with fright. He had no choice but to grit his teeth and go inside. Just as I closed the door, I happened to meet Shen Liang's gaze from the house diagonally opposite. He realized I had noticed. I immediately pulled my head back. I chuckled softly and closed the door. Truly a natural human finger rule. Her skill at hiding her head is top-notch. Inside the room, Shen Qingwu instantly became agitated upon seeing Lin Wanshi. Lin Wanshi was so scared she instinctively backed away, screaming to put some distance between her. "Why are you keeping zombies at home? Aren't you afraid?" I replied calmly. "What's there to be afraid of? It's just a zombie." This made him involuntarily compare me to Shen Liang. He thought to himself, if his husband had half the courage I have, he wouldn't have come here to endure this humiliation. Thinking of this, Lin Wanshi sighed. "Tell me, what exactly do you want me to make to give me food?" A few minutes later, he returned to the living room and shouted at me in a very harsh tone, "I've cooked everything you wanted. Where's the food?" I leisurely opened the fridge, deliberately letting him see it stuffed with fresh meat. At that moment, a thought flashed through Lin Wanshi's mind. Should I just knock him out? But in the end, reason prevailed. Actually, I had always been wary of his move. Lin Wanshi didn't make a move, which made me feel a bit regretful. I almost felt justifiable. I took out about a jin of pork and casually tossed it in front of him. He stared at the meat on the ground with a grim expression. "You only gave me this little, and that's already quite a lot. I originally planned to give you only half a jin." Lin Wanshi had no idea how precious that pound of meat was in the ink room. He only remembered when he first weighed and took it. The bride price was 380,000, and his name was still written on the deed. Lin Wanshi took a deep breath, finally bent down to pick up the pork from the ground, and walked out with a cold face. Seeing him like this, I wasn't angry. Rather, I was happy. He felt even worse. The more intense my thrill of revenge, the more I happily fell out of the system panel. The house and fruits and vegetables both showed the claim status. Although a 100-square-meter house is a bit small, I have a way to solve it. Just find another one. A woman of similar status to Lin Wanshi could expand on the basis of 100 square meters. The only problem now was the design blueprints for the safe house. Fortunately, there might be survivors from the architecture department at Binhai University. Looks like I have to go out for a while. Early the next morning, I started looting supplies. My top target was I-104 across the street. I pulled out wire and stuck it into the keyhole, and it was easy in seconds. As soon as I entered the room, I heard chewing sounds coming from the bedroom. I clenched my hands and feet to push open the bedroom door and saw an old man with white hair gnawing on a corpse on the bed. I muttered quietly. I grabbed a kitchen knife and swung it at the zombie. Unexpectedly, the blow didn't cause much damage. Instead, it completely enraged him. He spun around and lunged at me, baring his teeth and claws. I kicked him in the chest, sending him flying. Then I rushed forward and gave it a few more hits until he stopped moving completely. When I came to my senses, I realized the kitchen knife had already rolled twice. After all, it's just a kitchen knife. It's fine for cutting meat, but slicing zombie bones is a bit exhausting. Looks like it's time to find a better weapon. Around noon, I finally cleared all 6 rooms on the 5th floor, defeated 3 zombies in total, and found a box of malt juice, 7 bottles of messy pills, and a bucket of protein powder. Although the harvest was good, this sharp kitchen knife was completely ruined. Fortunately, I found a baseball bat, swung it a couple of times, and it felt pretty smooth. Meanwhile, Lin Wanshi and Shen Liang watched through the peephole the entire process of me slaughtering zombies. My crazed look made them swallow hard, but unfortunately I searched too thoroughly. Neither of them found a single hair. Damn, is that bastard the reincarnation of a locust? Not a single bite is left. I think I found a steak, but all the hair on top is already searching. Shen Liang's eyes flickered. Honey, why don't you ask him for something to eat again? Lin Wanqi looked reluctant. We just ate yesterday, so we're not hungry yet. Maybe we shouldn't go yet. I'm not hungry right now, but sooner or later, he'll go hungry. Do you really have to wait until he's fed all the food to the zombies before you'll go for it? Seeing his hesitation, Shen Liang immediately grabbed his hand sincerely and said, Honey, I want to live with you. We'll definitely wait for the rescue team. Seeing her husband's pleading gaze, Lin Wanqi gritted her teeth. All right, I'll go. As soon as Lin Wanqi walked in, she was caught in an enticing aroma. Just then, I walked into the kitchen and soon came out carrying a rice pack. Inside was a pot full of stewed potatoes. I opened a bottle of malt juice and comfortably sat on the sofa to eat. Lin Wanqi was so tempted by the aroma that she swallowed hard, but seeing I said nothing, she could only stand there dryly. I took 2 bites before suddenly remembering her, almost forgetting you. As I spoke, I got up and took the plate, saving some meat from it. Lin Wanqi thought it was for her, but just as she was happily about to reach out and reveal it. But I walked past her and walked straight to the sofa. After pulling the rag from Shen Qingwu's mouth, she immediately buried her head in the plate and started wolfing down her food. On the other side, Lin Wanqi looked embarrassed. She cleared her throat and changed the subject. You cleared out the 5th floor today. Yeah, I'm getting ready to leave. Before I go gather more supplies, Lin Wanqi's eyes widened instantly. What? You're leaving? Zombies are everywhere outside. Where else could you go? I smiled, but didn't answer. What? You can't bear to let me go. Lin Wanqi was furious when she heard this. No one would want you to leave. I'd rather die out there. But even so, there was a hint of worry in her eyes. If I took all the food and left, wouldn't she and Shen Liang starve to death? Tell me, what exactly did you want to see me? I want to trade food with you. I couldn't help but let out a foolish laugh. I had long expected Lin Wanqi to come again, but I didn't expect her to be so thick-skinned. In the blink of an eye, 4 days have passed, and I've turned the whole building upside down. And these days, Shen Qingwu's appetite has been getting more and more frightening. From half a jin of meat at first, to 2.5 jin now, it's barely enough to fill my teeth. But her lower abdomen showed no signs of bone damage. If it weren't for her growing affection, I really wouldn't want to feed her anymore. Regardless of whether she understood or not, I started threatening her on my own, saying, I've been feeding you for 6 days already. If you still dare to have any dirty ideas and bite me, I'll just leave you here and fend for yourself. After saying that, I took the rag from her mouth. She didn't roar like she did at first. Instead, she opened her mouth and waited for me to feed her. If you dare bite me, I won't give you any food. Got it? Since you don't say anything, I'll take it as tacitness. I tentatively reached out my hand to Shen Qingwu, but she didn't hesitate and opened her mouth to bite. I immediately shouted, no. She froze for a moment at my shout, then tilted her head to look at me. I carefully reached out again, but Shen Qingwu still bit without stopping, pulling back and forth more than 10 times. Just as I was about to give up, she finally didn't bite further, but stared at my face, as if trying to judge by my expression whether I could eat it. I was overjoyed and gently shook my head at her. Shen Qingwu seemed to understand what I meant. She really wasn't shaking it. Excited, I took out another piece of meat and handed it over, nodding to her. This time she started eating right away. After trying several more times, she waited until I nodded before agreeing to eat. To verify if she was tied up, she was the only one who was tied up. Only then can I restrain my aggression. I decided to do another experiment. First, I uncovered the scars on her body, then placed a plate of meat on the coffee table. Shen Qingwu staggered to his feet and walked toward me. He first glanced at the meat on the table. Then he glanced at me sideways, and he raised his hand to point at the meat on the plate. I was overjoyed and nodded at him. Only then did Shen Qingwu pick up the plate and start eating heartily. I have to admit, his eating habits were still as ugly as ever. But the good news is, Shen Qing's affection level is only 40, and he already manages not to attack me. If his affection reaches 100, wouldn't he have an obedient zombie follower? This isn't a romance system, it's clearly a master-servant training system. Meanwhile, on the other side, Shen Liang had been on edge these past few days. He already knew I was about to leave. Whether for food or revenge, he didn't want me to leave alive. But relying on him alone was definitely out of reach. After all, I can easily take on zombies one-on-one. It's a big deal. Shen Liang started thinking about his wife again. Honey, we absolutely can't let that kid next door leave. At the very least, we can't let him take food with him. Why don't you borrow one more time to eat? Open the door while he's asleep. Let me in, and we'll take the chance to kill him. Out of guilt, Lin Wanqi almost always agrees to his requests and finally nods. Shen Liang instantly gets excited. Great, let's get to work as soon as it gets dark. I'll go get ready first. Watching Shen Liang's departing figure, Lin Wanqi gave a bitter smile. He didn't even ask about the specific plan, so it seemed he already understood. Meanwhile, since I planned to leave early tomorrow morning, I was about to go to bed early but had just fallen down. Then I heard a knock at the door. I opened it, a faint smile on my lips, already hungry again. Lin Wanqi cursed inwardly, wishing she could punch me in the face, but he held back. She even forced a flirtatious expression. It wasn't just because she was hungry. Come in. I stepped aside to make way. Just as Lin Wanqi walked past me, I raised my hand and slapped her. The jelly-like sensation made me genuinely admire it. Lin Wanqi covered her butt, glaring at me angrily. You have to give me an extra cookie. His act of being angry but not daring to speak made me laugh out loud. So being inhumane feels this good? I don't feel sorry for him at all. How they treated me in my past life is karma. Lin Wanqi lowered her head, her eyes blazing with anger. After tonight, let's see if you can still laugh. A few hours later, Lin Wanqi came out, shakily leaning against the wall. It was just a dozen steps from the bedroom to the door, but he walked for several minutes. As soon as he opened the door, Shen Liang slipped in. So, is he asleep? Asleep? Great, I'll go finish him off right now. After saying that, Shen Liang gripped the fruit knife tightly, but after only a few steps, he saw a figure standing at the bedroom door. This terrified Shen Liang out of his wits. Didn't you say he was asleep? Lin Wanqi was startled as well, but he immediately sensed something was wrong. This was the zombie raised by that bastard. How did he break free from the rope? Honey, what should we do? Should we retreat first? Shen Liang was torn between his heart and his soul. Although he was also afraid of zombies, he knew even more that if he missed tonight, there would be no more chances. Besides, Shen Xingwu looked dazed and dumbfounded, which gave Shen Liang the illusion that if he went up, he could do it too. But just to be safe, he still spoke to Lin Wanqi. Honey, you go get his attention. I'll take care of him from behind. Lin Wanqi trembled all over in fear when she heard this. Don't worry, I won't let him hurt you. Shen Liang promised this, but deep down, he was already prepared, ready to sell his wife at any moment. But Lin Wanqi wasn't willing to do anything. He wasn't yet in love enough to die for Shen Liang. I heard my impatient voice coming from the bedroom door. I said, how long are you two going to keep discussing? Hearing my voice, Shen Liang and Lin Wanqi's hearts nearly leapt out of their throats. You didn't even fall asleep. You two argued like this. Even if I were asleep, I'd be woken up. Looking at the calm smile on my face, Lin Wanqi's face instantly turned pale. Honey, let the zombies hold him off. Let's run. Are you talking about him? Under the incredulous gazes of the two, I raised my hand and rubbed Shen Xingwu's head, and instead of attacking me, he obediently let me pet him. This scene scared those two so much they wet themselves. How is this possible? You don't look like a zombie, and that's one thing, but your habits are completely different from other zombies. Suddenly, Shen Liang shoved Lin Wanqi toward me, then turned and ran toward the door. But after only a few steps, I caught up and knocked him down. Wait, I have something to say. Please don't kill me. But I couldn't be bothered to waste words with him, so I dealt with him decisively. Lin Wanqi watched this scene, terrified to the point of losing her soul. This was all Shen Liang's idea. He wanted to harm you. It has nothing to do with me. Please forgive me. I swear from now on, I will treat you like a master. Lin Wanqi still held on to a sliver of hope, thinking she would be reluctant to kill him, but unexpectedly, I spoke coldly. You don't know you were wrong. You just know you're going to die. At that moment, Shen Xingwu leaned over and pointed to the two corpses on the ground. I shook my head. No, this is already broken. Early the next morning, I took Shen Xingwu and rode our motorcycles out of the apartment. It's worth mentioning that the roaring engines along the way attracted countless zombies, but these slow-moving creatures couldn't keep up. All I could do was watch helplessly as I strode away. When I arrived at Binhai University, I was about to shake off the zombies behind me. I was about to find a cave building to hide in, when suddenly I heard someone calling me. I hesitated for a moment, so I threw down my motorcycle and ran toward that side. The person who had just called out saw me approaching and quickly moved aside the window. I braced myself on the window frame with one hand, and a handsome hurdle jumped in. But Shen Xingwu's body was stiff and he couldn't climb the window, so he could only stand there dumbfounded. A few enthusiastic male classmates tried to help, but I pushed them away. No need, I'll do it. After saying that, I leaned out and wrapped my arms around Shen Xingwu's Yi Xiang. It didn't take much effort to pull him inside. It was a guy who looked like a rich kid spoke up. You must be my dad sent to save us, right? This guy is Gu Chengyu. Relying on his status as the mayor's son, he fooled people into saying his dad would send people to rescue them. Because of this, he became the leader of this group of survivors. I ignored his personal visit. Who the hell are you? Do I even know you? Gu Chengyu's face instantly darkened. He said this just to show off, to give me no face at all. To restore his dignity, he started putting on a leadership air, which meant, "You're a survivor just like us. Since that's the case, you have to follow our rules." A strong underling behind him immediately came over to snatch my backpack. I brushed his hand away and stepped back. "What do you want?" Gu Chengyu put on a righteous and resolute expression. "For everyone's survival, please hand over the supplies, and we'll distribute them uniformly." I snorted coldly. "Whether you live or die has nothing to do with me." Hearing this, Gu Chengyu deliberately raised his voice so everyone could hear. "If everyone were as selfish as you, we would have starved to death long ago. We did this all to maximize the rational use of supplies." I really couldn't stand it anymore and interrupted him directly. "Your lives and deaths have nothing to do with me, and I don't plan to band with you. So I absolutely won't hand over the supplies." Gu Chengyu sneered coldly and pointed out the window. "Sorry, please leave immediately." Right outside the window, the zombies I had drawn earlier were all scrambling to cling to the window and drooling. Of course, I wouldn't leave right now, especially since I hadn't even achieved my purpose yet. There are so many classrooms here. If I stay for a few days, I'll naturally leave. As an outsider, the students prefer to listen to Gu Chengyu, so they surrounded me in righteous indignation. "Why do you have the right to talk to young Master Gu like that? If we hadn't saved you just now, you died long ago. This is the school, and you're an outsider. What right do you have to stay in our classroom?" I couldn't help but laugh foolishly. "In the apocalypse, you reason with me. Besides, even if I insist on staying by force. So what? You Greenhouse Flower Island, who have never seen blood, dare to fight someone like me, who crawled out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood." At the height of tension, a beautiful woman in a long dress with a fresh and elegant aura walked in. "What's going on here, Lu He? This guy wants to stay with us. We're just about to send him away." Lu He frowned slightly. "If he wants to stay, let him stay. We have so many empty classrooms here. Why send people away? Aren't you sending him to his death? Everyone disperse." The students hesitated and looked at Gu Chengyu until he nodded. Only then did they disperse. At that moment, Lu He's gaze passed over me. It landed on Shen Qingwu. "Is this your sister? She's really beautiful." "Guess so. Hello, little sister. What's your name, and why are your eyes so red?" His enthusiasm received no response. I hurried over to explain. He wore colored contacts. "My sister is a bit introverted and not very talkative, so don't mind." She easily believed my lies. "After all, there's no zombie that doesn't bite people nowadays, so you guys should stay here for now. From the first to the third floor, it's safe. You can pick any empty classroom, but remember, everything above the fourth floor is very dangerous." Soon noon, in front of a classroom with a warehouse sign on the door, there were more than a dozen students lined up. They were all waiting to receive their rations for the day, but most only got a few cookies. Gu Chengyu hid in the warehouse, sneaking away to eat the chicken legs he had stolen. But just then, a strong aroma of meat wafted over, and the dozen or so people stopped lining up. Everyone looked toward the aroma, and as they smelled it, they all rushed downstairs. At that moment, in a classroom on the second floor, I was lighting a fire and cooking. The crowd was so shocked their eyes turned red. Gu Chengyu walked straight in. "Friend, can you trade our food for some of your food?" "I ignored you. Your moldy junk is not only bad, but also doesn't fill your stomach." Gu Chengyu wanted to say something else, but I couldn't be bothered to respond and walked out with a bowl of meat. "Want to eat?" Everyone nodded quickly. Only then did I clear my throat. "Is there anyone here who studies architecture?" As soon as I said this, the room fell silent. After a long while, someone timidly spoke up. "The architecture student is in another building. I guess they've all turned into zombies by now." Hearing this, I was very disappointed. The main reason I came this time was to find someone who could design the safe house blueprints. Now it seems like this trip was for nothing. But just then, a faint voice came from the crowd. "I am an architecture major." Everyone turned toward the voice and saw a girl with braided hair and black-rimmed glasses, looking shy. Under so many people's gaze, she was clearly a bit nervous. I looked at her suspiciously. Her slightly shrunken look made it hard not to suspect she was there to scam food and drink. It seemed she saw a hint of history in my eyes. The girl with the braided queue mustered her courage. "My name is Ruan Yuan, and I'm the top student in our major. If you don't believe me, you can ask other classmates. I believe you, but you draw the blueprint." She suddenly looked up, her face full of surprise. Of course, I didn't believe her out of thin air, but because of the system panel in front of me named Ruan Yuan. Identity, architecture major, favorability 0, reward. Choose one of solar power generation equipment or sewage purification devices. Reward, 1 monitoring system for publication. The complete guide rewards 4 automatic turrets, plus 100 rounds of specialized ammo. Wow, these rewards are better than the last. If you get them all, the safe house upgrade would be a complete game changer. Hearing my question, Ruan Yuan nodded like a pecking chick. "I would. Then, could you draw some rather unique architectural design plans? A big greeting popped into Ruan Yuan Yuan's tiny mind, but for the sake of food, she agreed. All right, I'll take care of you. Revenge. A bowl of meat and a bowl of vegetables every day. Ruan Yuan Yuan thought having some meat would be enough, but unexpectedly there were vegetables. She happily accepted the job. Some rejoice, some are worried. Gu Chengyu glared at me fiercely, then slunk away with his men. When they reached the stairway, a subordinate named Lu Ye glanced around, making sure no one was following before speaking. Du Xiao, that kid is way too arrogant. How about we kill him? Gu Chengyu pondered for a moment. No, you saw how he fought zombies during the day. We're no match for him at all. Right now, Gu Chengyu wants to deal with me more than anyone, but unfortunately, his strength doesn't allow it. Little brother Lu Yi wanted to say something more, but Gu Chengyu had already walked away. Lu Yi watched his back and snorted coldly. You eat big fish and meat yourself. Of course you don't care about his food. I'm still hungry. No way. I had to find a way to get his supplies. Meanwhile, after finishing her meal, Ruan Yuani licked her lips with lingering interest. Seeing this, I asked if I wanted more. Ruan Yuan shook her head. No need. I've already finished today's payment. If I overdrew tomorrow, I'd be starving. Hearing this, I was a bit suspicious. Let's get to work. Ruan Yuan agreed and immediately got back to work. He opened his backpack and took out a laptop. Tell me your requirements. I want a blueprint for a safe house covering 100 square meters with high strength plus a warehouse escape route, rest area, and shower. 100 square meters is still too small for a safe house because we still have to move out of the planting and breeding areas. Right? I looked at him in surprise. This girl thinks even more thoroughly than I do. That's right, so you still need to move out the expansion space. I understand. I'm starting work now. Hearing this, I excitedly asked him, how long will it take to heal? Probably several days. If I need to make changes later, it will take 2 or 3 more days. I immediately furrowed my brows. According to my memories from my previous life, it would be a little over a week. A cold wave will hit. If you don't move into the safe house before then, you'll freeze to death in this drafty teaching building. I need you to draw the blueprints within 7 days. Are you confident? Ruan Yuan hesitated at first, but soon his gaze became resolute. No problem, 7 days is fine. I took Shen Qingwu to the base of the building, hoping to find a suitable place to build a safe house. Soon, I discovered a vacant lot on the back hill of the school, with a teaching building blocking the way. Behind it was a big mountain. If you didn't enter the school, it would be hard to find them. Plus, there weren't many zombies here. I grabbed a baseball bat and prepared to clear the area. I climbed out the window from the first floor and glanced around. There were 4 zombies wandering nearby. Even though I carefully knocked one down, I still caught the other 3. The one at the front was a guy in a t-shirt who seemed to have been a sports student in life. Unlike those slow-moving zombies, this athlete zombie runs fast. He blinked and rushed right in front of me. I calmly dodged and struck with my club. No wonder he's an athlete. The zombie still moved after taking a hit. I immediately fired another stick, and at that moment, a 3rd zombie pounced on me. I knocked him down with a candy-sweeping kick, then finished him off with 2 more sticks. At that moment, the last zombie pounced on me. I didn't have time to get up before I was knocked to the ground. The zombie opened its bloody mouth and bit down on my baseball bat. I chewed hard up and down, cursing under my breath, trying to shake off the zombie on me, but failed several times. Just as I was about to try again, a slender little hand suddenly grabbed the zombie's neck. I threw him flying. Surprised, I turned my head and saw that the owner of that small hand was actually Shen Qingwu. At that moment, the zombie that had been thrown away roared and charged at me again. Before I could get up, Shen Qingwu instantly grabbed the zombie's neck and twisted it hard. With a crack, the zombie's head tilted and fell to the ground. Damn, I didn't expect Shen Qingwu, who looked so delicate and weak, to be so strong. Looks like I guessed right, she really did evolve. Back then, I saw Shen Qingwu's skin change from gray-white. As she slowly turned pink, I had a guess, and now it's finally confirmed. I opened the system panel and saw that Shen Qingwu's favorability had already risen to 50. This is much easier to please than a woman, no need for designer bags or cosmetics. As long as I gave him some food, it could even protect me. Shen Qingwu, who was staring at me, showed no emotion on his face, as if she hadn't just acted. After resting for a while, I continued clearing the zombies. Shen Qingwu only intervenes when my life is in danger. The rest of the time, I just quietly watched the show. It seemed that to direct her work, I still needed to keep improving my favorability. I kept busy until it was getting late. Then I set off to return to the teaching building and went to the men's restroom. I was about to take off my clothes and wash the blood off my body. But I noticed Shen Qingwu had followed me in, showering in front of a woman. It was truly the first time. Although it felt a bit unnatural, I thought about it. She was just a zombie after all. I quickly finished showering and was about to change into clean clothes. But suddenly she looked at Shen Qingwu. Although I wasn't sure if zombies would sweat, the battle had already stained her with blood. So I decided to help her wash up too. At this moment, Shen Qingwu's gaze was fixed on me. Even though I knew she didn't have a sense of gender, my face still flushed uncontrollably. I gritted my teeth and quickly unbuttoned her clothes. Her fair, jade-like skin almost caught my eye. Just looking at her made me feel a bit of blood bond. I quickly reminded myself that she was a zombie, finally calming down a bit. I hurriedly helped her wash up. A minute later, I finished washing up. I looked up to meet Shen Qingwu's gaze, but she was staring straight into my eyes. What was different was that there seemed to be a fluctuation of emotion in Shen Qingwu's eyes. I wasn't sure if it was just my imagination, so I curiously leaned in to take a closer look. The next second, Shen Qingwu's body suddenly leaned closer. I never expected her to sneak attack. I didn't have time to dodge, but the expected frenzied biting didn't happen. Instead, a soft, slightly sweet sensation came from my lips. My eyes were full of shock until the system's notification sounded, just snapped me back to reality. Congratulations, host. You received the first kiss reward. Zombie virus vaccine can be used to immunize zombie virus infection. Also, check Shen Qingwu's favorability on the system panel. I was shocked again. I didn't expect that just a simple shower would instantly boost my affection to 60, directly into the liking stage. I closed the system panel and asked Shen Qingwu, "Do you have feelings now?" Shen Qingwu tilted his head. She looked a bit silly and cute, clearly unable to understand such complicated words, so I switched to a simpler question. "Can you understand what I'm saying?" This time she nodded. I tried asking a few more questions, but whenever I encountered something a bit more complicated, Shen Qingwu would fall into a daze. Thinking about it this way, it seems unrealistic to let Shen Qingwu act alone. But as her affection increases, maybe she really can regain her human emotions and understand more complex commands. But for now, I decided to get out of the bathroom first. Back in the classroom, I asked Ruan Yuan and learned that the mini fire station was right next to the main gate of the administration building. But if I wanted to get there, I had to avoid the zombies on the playground. I quietly memorized this information, then told Ruan Yuan to go rest. Soon, only Shen Qingwu and I were left in the classroom. I took out the zombie virus vaccine, plunged it straight into my arm, and pushed in a whole tube of medicine. Now the zombie threat to me was even less. At this moment, on the third floor of the teaching building, two people sneaked toward the stairs. One of them looked worried. "Is this really okay if I do this?" The other spoke disdainfully. "What could possibly happen? No matter how good he is, there are only two of them. One of them is a little girl, Tizu. You're not afraid of even a girl, are you?" That person was Lu Ye soon. The two of them reached the classroom where I was, one after the other. He noticed that both the front and back doors of the classroom were locked from the inside, but that didn't stop Tao Qi. The experienced Lu Ye fiddled with the window and pushed it open, then flipped over and jumped inside. The iron pillar wasn't as agile as Lu Ye's. First, one foot stepped over the window and straddled it, but just as he was about to move the other foot over as well, he noticed a low voice in the classroom. He stiffly scrambled up, startling him so nervously that he stammered, "Lu Yi has someone." Lu Ye instantly became alert, but it was too late. He only felt a chill in his chest. A slender arm had already pierced through his chest. Tiju was terrified on the spot and tried to run, but a hand also pierced his chest. Shen Qingwu looked at his blood-stained hands, and a sudden hunger surged in his mind. That impulse drove him to lick the blood of the corpse, but in the end, he managed to control himself. The next morning, when I woke up, it was cold and empty. Qing excitedly showed me the blood on his hand. My eyes narrowed. What was going on? Shen Qingwu looked toward the window again. Following his gaze, I saw one person lying on the ground, another leaning against the window with a huge hole in his chest. Next to the body was a nunchaku. Seeing this, I immediately understood, but Shen Qingwu was grabbing my hand and waving it back and forth. I immediately understood what he meant, so I took him to the bathroom. After washing the blood off my hands, I returned to the classroom. I had just thrown the two bodies out the window when Ruan Yuanin came over holding her laptop. She nodded to me in greeting, then walked to the desk and started working. After a while, Gu Chungyu's disgusting face appeared at the classroom door. "Where is Lu Ye? What did you do to him?" I looked at him calmly. "Who is Lu Yi? Stop pretending with me." It was that guy with green hair. Only then did I suddenly realize that one of those two last night was named Lu Ye. But I still pretended not to know anything, not knowing what you were talking about. "I don't know Lu Yi either. Do you think I'd believe he'd disappear early or late? But you disappeared as soon as you arrived. If it wasn't you, then who else could it be? What are you barking like here? If someone is missing, go find them yourself. Stop yelling here." The sound of our argument attracted quite a few students, including Lu He. He asked in confusion. What's wrong? What happened? Gu Chengyu's tone finally softened a bit. Lu Ye and Ti Zhu were gone. Lu He thought for a moment, maybe they went out to look for supplies? Impossible. Without my orders, they wouldn't leave on their own. I took the opportunity to interject. You're so sure they'll listen to you. Maybe they've already disliked you and ran away while you were asleep. Who knows? Maybe Gu Chengyu's eyes were red with anger, and he wanted to hit him right then and there. Unfortunately, he can't beat me. Lu, he wants to ease the tension. This tension is so tense. Maybe they really have something to do and go out. They'll be back later. Just be patient and wait. I'll trust Lu He this once. If they don't come back before dark, I'll definitely come to you for an explanation. After leaving that harsh remark, Gu Chengyu left with a cold face. Passing by the warehouse, the person guarding the warehouse with glasses was unable to report to him. Young Master Gu, the food in the warehouse is almost gone. Then send someone to look for it. Alright, I'll go make arrangements right away. Glasses Nan was just about to leave when Gu Chengyu called him back. Wait, I'll give you a new list and arrange it according to the above. But the list is full of people who don't really obey his command. Anyone who stays in the camp is a troublemaker. It would be better to arrange for them to go out and find supplies. If they died outside, it would save some food, a win-win. Thinking of this, Gu Chengyu's mouth gradually curled into a delightful fool. At this rate, it wouldn't take many days. Suddenly, a voice that was soft and alluring came from not far away. Du Xiao, so you're here? It's easy to find. Gu Chengyu looked up. Jiang Weiwei, dressed flamboyantly, was walking toward him. Why are you here? Where's Lu He? Why aren't you with him? A classmate has a fever and he's helping to take care of him. Gu Chengyu looked at him when he heard that. He flashed a lecherous grin. Since Lu He couldn't get away for now, wasn't that a perfect opportunity to vent? Thinking this way, Gu Chengyu's gaze toward Jiang Weiwei became twisted. What do you want from me? Jiang Weiwei bit her lip. Can't I come to you for no reason? Of course I can. I happen to miss you too. A trace of shyness flashed in Jiang Weiwei's eyes. Oh, that's annoying. She said it and made her feel embarrassed. Seeing this, Gu Chengyu felt a heat rise in his lower abdomen, and a surge of evil fire surged up. He couldn't wait to grab Jiang Weiwei's waist, but she dodged him. Young Master Gu, aren't you afraid someone will see you? I'll be shy. Gu Chengyu and Yuwen laughed heartily. How about this? I happen to go to the warehouse to check supplies. Why don't you come with me? Jiang Weiwei nodded repeatedly. Great, sure. The two of them entered the warehouse one after the other. Gu Chengyu, who was behind, casually locked the door and eagerly tried to clear Jiang Weiwei, but he dodged with a quick move. Gu Chengyu scratched his head anxiously. What was going on now? Jiang Weiwei first glanced at the supplies in the warehouse. Then he spoke nonchalantly. Gu Xiao, looks like there's not much food left. Gu Chengyu replied perfunctorily. I've got enough people to hold out until my dad arrives, he said as he started undressing. Enough talk. Hurry up, or it would be bad if someone found out later. Jiang Weiwei chuckled. Young Master Gu, can your dad really spare his hand to save you? Gu Chengyu was suddenly stunned. What do you mean? But Jiang Weiwei changed the subject. Covering my mouth, I chuckled softly. I was just guessing. Don't be too nervous. Oh right, I suddenly remembered. Lu He-hen, I'm here to help. Bye, young Master Gu. After saying that, Jiang Weiwei walked out, leaving Gu Chengyu standing awkwardly alone. It looked like a clown. On the other side, I was clearing zombies when suddenly I heard cries for help from afar. I grabbed my baseball bat and looked over, only to see a woman by the window of a building shouting at me. This made me complain. This woman must be looking for death, ignoring everything and shouting for help. But it was a very dangerous act. I knew she wanted to get my attention, but I never intended to save her. Still, the woman's shout. But by a twist of fate, he helped me out. The zombies on the open ground heard the noise and slowly moved toward the source of the sound. I said to Shen Xingwu, let's go. Today we can get off work early. But this made the woman in the building anxious. Where are they going? Didn't they hear my call for help? Seeing more and more zombies gathering around, she had no choice but to close her mouth and start crying softly. Back in the classroom, I asked Ruan Yuanian, did you just hear a woman shouting? Ruan Yuanyuan nodded. I heard it. It seems to be Teacher Wen. Teacher Wen, you know her. She's the school doctor at our school. I thought for a moment, you want me to save her. My question is for Ruan Yuanyuan. My hand holding the mouse paused for a moment. I just thought she might be useful to you. By the way, that building is the administration building. I got it. After saying that, I took Shen Xingwu to take a shower. Another 2 days passed. The number of surviving students has decreased again. When I first arrived, there were about 50 or so survivors. Now I estimate only 30 or so. At the same time, a sense of panic began to spread. That day, I pointed at Shen Qingwu and said to Ruan Yuan, "Please keep an eye on her. I need to go to the administration building, and it's inconvenient to bring her along." The reason I waited 2 days to save her was to make that woman named Wen Ning utterly despair. Only then would she be grateful to me. Half an hour later, I arrived at my destination, but there were more than a dozen zombies roaming around. Trying to kill them all by sneak attack was impossible. I had to finish quickly. I took a deep breath and rushed toward the mini fire station. The zombies immediately spotted me and roared as they surrounded me. Seeing this, I ran forward with all my might, caught up with the zombies, and rushed into the mini fire station before I did. 2 walkie-talkies, 1 fire axe, and 1 escape rope. I packed them all up. While I was focused on looting supplies, I didn't expect the zombies to be only 3 meters away from me. Luckily, I reacted quickly and quickly slipped into the restroom on the 3rd floor of the administration building. Wen Ning's consciousness was already starting to blur. In a daze, he vaguely heard the loud bang of the door being smashed open. Then a male voice came through. "Are you dead? Too bad you're late." Wen Ning suddenly opened his eyes wide and shouted with all his strength. "I'm still alive, please, save me. I'll throw him a baseball bat. Can he still move? If you want to live, grab your weapon." Wen Ning gritted his teeth, leaned against the wall, and stood up. "I can do it." I took Wen Ning out of the room and saw a zombie swaying up. I stepped forward a few paces and put an axe over the zombie's head. With just 1 strike, the zombie stopped moving. Seeing this, I couldn't help but sigh. The axe really works. Wen Ning, who was following behind, was stunned. This guy killing zombies was way too easy and comfortable. When I reached the staircase, he finally snapped out of it and hurried to follow. There were quite a few zombies on the stairs, all following me in. The terrain outside was too open earlier. Once I'm surrounded, I have to face attacks from all directions. But now, with only 1 staircase and only 1 zombie able to hit me at a time, I'm confident. Plus, with my high vantage point, I can easily cut off a zombie's head and neck. In just a few minutes, the zombie's corpse was covered in a layer on the stairs. Wen Ning couldn't help but look at me again. My image seemed even taller and more sacred in his mind. But just then, his ankle was suddenly grabbed. At his feet was a female zombie whose face had been half bitten off. Wen Ning was instantly so terrified she didn't dare move, her whole body trembling like a sieve, her small eyes brimming with tears. I just stood by, unmoved. If you don't hit her with a baseball bat, is it really meant to be saved for the new year? My words made Wen Ning's face unintentionally blush. He raised the baseball bat above his head, closed his eyes, and smashed it down hard. I watched coldly the whole time. This slipped fish out of the net on purpose. I want to use this cruel yet direct method to help Wen Ning grow quickly. I nodded, well done. After receiving my affirmation, Wen Ning felt an unprecedented joy. Not long after, Ruan Yuan stood by the window, excitedly shouting, "You're back." Shen Qingwu stood beside him, his expressionless face showing no emotion, but his gaze kept following us in the distance, with quite a few people around. Many students were drawn in, including Jiang Weiwei. At that moment, her eyes were shining brightly, staring outside. When I brought Wen Ning to the window, Ruan Yuan was about to open it. But Jiang Weiwei was a step ahead of her, pushed it open, and reached out her hand to me. But I ignored her and jumped in through the window. Wen Ning grabbed Jiang Weiwei's hand and struggled to crawl in. After steadying herself, Wen Ning said, "Thank you, Jiang Weiwei. Your smile was a bit stiff." "No need to thank me, Teacher Ning. Welcome to join us." The other students immediately stepped forward and surrounded Wen Ning, shouting at once. It was clear that Wen Ning was quite popular among the students. I ignored the noisy crowd and led Shen Qingwu upstairs. Seeing me leave, Wen Ning left the group of students behind and hurried after me. The students exchanged glances, not understanding how Teacher Ning had left them behind and run. At that moment, 4 women appeared at the door of my classroom on the 2nd floor at the same time. Ruan Yuanian adjusted her glasses and sized up the other 3. Among the 4, she was the only one here who appeared most upright and solemn. The other 3 had no idea what she was doing here. I looked at the 4 women at the door and was momentarily stunned, but quickly returned to normal. Lifting the lid, a rich aroma instantly filled the entire classroom. The 4 women caught a whisper of the aroma and couldn't help but swallow. I saved a bowl for myself and Shen Qingwu first, then saved another bowl and handed it to Ruan Yuanian. While eating, Ruan Yuan glanced at the others with a smug little look. Ming Yao had been hungry for so many days and had only managed to hold on by sheer willpower. So when she smelled the aroma, her reaction was the most exaggerated. Her mouth was practically streaming down like a river. But I still forced myself to thank me. "Thank you for saving me." Suddenly, the system panel appeared before me. Target, name, Wen Ning. Identity, school doctor. Affection, 50. Hand-holding reward, medical box, medical secrets, document rewards, lost virus vaccines, complete strategy rewards, medical room, and supporting medical devices. Seeing this, I smiled with satisfaction. Looks like it was right before, but the dislikability shot straight up to 50. I asked Wen Ning, do you want to eat? I really do. Work for me. I can give you the same treatment as her. A bowl of meat and a bowl of vegetables a day. Ruan Yuanyuan, who was happily eating nearby, suddenly felt the meat in her bowl lost its appeal when she heard this. Wen Ning agreed without hesitation, saying no problem. Then I served her a bowl as well. She immediately started wolfing down her food. Looks like she's really starving. I turned my attention to the other two. Target name, Lu He, identity art student, pianist, favorability, 0. Hand-holding reward, piano skills, essay reward, complete piano sheet music, complete guide reward, piano artistic talent, target name, Jiang Weiwei, identity, gold-digging female student, affection level 10, hand-holding reward, 1 car, text reward, 1 100 square meter house, complete strategy reward, 1 1000 square meter house. After mentally asking the system, you can specify any model of car you get as rewarded, from a Ferrari to a mid-range truck, and even a tank. Plus, this 100 square meter house is pretty tempting. It can double my safe house instantly. It seems Jiang Weiwei really has some value. As for Lu He's rewards, they're a bit lacking. Jiang Weiwei keenly noticed the change in my gaze. She tossed her hair and said sweetly, may I work for you too? Ruan Yuanyuan, standing nearby, instantly got goosebumps and felt disgusted inside. But she didn't think Jiang Weiwei's seduction would work. After all, in her impression, I only took in people who were useful to me. Unexpectedly, I agreed without hesitation. Fine. Revenge is just like the two of them. Ruan Yuani's eyes widened instantly. What could Jiang Weiwei do? Why should she enjoy the same treatment as him? At that moment, Jiang Weiwei took the bowl I handed her, her fingers seemingly brushing against my hand as if by accident. I noticed her hesitation. You could choose to stay here, so of course I chose to follow you. Jiang Weiwei is smart, knowing that staying here will definitely lead to miserable consequences. She might as well take a gamble with me. Our commotion quickly attracted a crowd of onlookers who immediately started whispering among themselves. Where are these people going? Could it be that he's desperate and wants to leave? It'd be better if he left. He had long disliked them. Lu He was also in the crowd, listening to the classmates' gossip. He frowned deeply, even though I had rejected him yesterday. He even said such harsh things, but he still couldn't do it. He just watched us go to our deaths, so he rushed through the crowd and blocked my way. Where are you going? Get out of here. You don't like us anyway, do you? My question stumped Lu He. He was about to say something when a voice came from behind. That's right, we really don't welcome you, but the others can leave. Teacher Ning, you're the school doctor. Stay with us. We really need you. Gu Chengyu knows very well how important being a doctor is. Clearly, they want to use students to morally blackmail Winnie. I was instantly furious. Damn it, they're trying to dig people on me. Before I could say anything, Ming Yao stepped forward. There's not even any medicine here, and staying here is useless. Let's go. You're a teacher after all. Even if you do nothing with you around, everyone feels much more at ease. Gu Chengyu wanted to struggle a bit, but Wen Ning didn't budge at all. He was determined to come with me. Seeing that persuasion couldn't be made, Gu Chengyu couldn't be bothered to keep anyone else. In his eyes, aside from Wen Ning being somewhat useful, Ruan Yuanyuan and Jiang Weiwei were basically two burdens. Enough talk, he left. I couldn't be bothered to argue with him anymore, so I turned and left. The girls behind me immediately followed. Since the apocalypse broke out, this was the first time Jiang Weiwei had left the teaching building. She nervously looked around, ready to run at any moment. But what eased her a little was that there were no living zombies, only corpses scattered all over the floor. I walked to the open space behind the school and stopped. Seeing this, Jiang Weiwei immediately panicked. Why aren't you leaving? While there are no zombies now, let's hurry up. We're here. What are we here? How can people live in this desolate wilderness? Is this guy crazy? If I'd known, I wouldn't have come out with him. I can't be bothered to care what Jiang Weiwei is thinking. All my thoughts are on the system. The system extracts the stall rewards, detects the design blueprints, and asks whether to build according to them. As soon as the thought landed, a steel fortress suddenly appeared out of thin air on the previously empty ground. The scene before them left everyone stunned, unable to close their mouths. Ruan Yuanyuan was the first to recognize it. The structure of this building was exactly the same as the blueprints he had drawn. He looked at me in shock, about to say something, but I interrupted him directly. Don't ask so many questions. You just need to know that I can help you live. Jiang Weiwei instantly swept away her previous despair, her heart filled with joy, wishing she could offer herself on the spot. I stopped and walked toward the safe house. The door was made of titanium alloy, with an electronic fingerprint strap next to it. After entering my own fingerprint, I casually recorded one for Shen Xingwu as well. As for Wen Ning and Ruan Yuanyuan, let's talk about them when their affection reaches 6. But that Jiang Weiwei is too scheming and full of little schemes. Every 80 points of affection is out of reach. The titanium alloy door slowly opened and I led everyone inside. Since the space wasn't large, the safe house had only one living room, 3 rooms, 1 bathroom, and 1 storage room. Wow. The bathroom actually has a bathtub and hot water. Such a big storage room with a cooling function. Amazing. Oh my god, there's even a bed in the bedroom. Even the living room has a sofa. Listening to their amazement, I felt incredibly happy, and this is just the beginning. As long as I keep farming affection tasks, my safe house will get bigger and more features. At this moment, Jiang Weiwei took the initiative to suggest, let's split the rooms. The boss gets 1 room, Ruan Yuan and I share 1, and Teacher Wen and Shen Qingwu share another. As soon as she finished speaking, Ruan Yuan immediately jumped in to object. I don't want to share a room with you. I want to share a room with Teacher Wen. Qingwu said nothing, just silently tugged at the corner of my shirt. Alright then, the boss shares a room with his sister, and Ruan Yuan shares a room with Teacher Wen. But Ruan Yuan still didn't dare. Why should you have your own room? You all saw the situation with the boss and his sister. You didn't want to come with me, so I had to live alone. I actually have a good idea. Why not sleep alone in the living room? Ruan Yuan, are you really trying to make things difficult for me? Seeing they were about to start fighting, I raised my voice. Stop arguing, just do as Jiang Weiwei suggested. As soon as I spoke, the 2 of them left immediately, and they stuck together. Ruan Yuan angrily pulled Wenming back to his room, while Jiang Weiwei closed the door, not sure what she was fiddling with inside. I originally wanted to take a look around the safe house a bit longer, but Shen Qingwu held me back. He pointed to the remaining room, and Nai abandoned the ground and spat out 2 words, sleep. Actually, I wanted to refuse, but I had no choice. Shen Qingwu's big eyes are incredibly intimidating, and I've been on edge these past few days. It really is time for a good rest. As soon as I lay down on the bed, Shen Qingwu snuggled up to me like a kitten. I had no choice but to turn over and hug him. Soon after, he fell asleep. Shen Qing didn't feel much sleepiness. He just buried his little face in my chest, quietly feeling my heartbeat. Meanwhile, on the side of the teaching building, some students discovered a building that had appeared out of thin air. He immediately ran to report to Gu Chengyu. Gu Chengyu looked puzzled after hearing this. He had no particular memory of that strange house behind the school, but in his memory, it seemed to have always been there, even though he hadn't seen the safe house built from scratch with his own eyes. But under the system's influence, their subconscious all felt that this house was perfectly normal. Gu Chengyu stared at the student who came to report. You saw with your own eyes that outsider lead people into that house. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. Young Master Gu's house is pretty sturdy. How about we go and grab it? Are you stupid? If we're talking about safety, isn't our building enough? Leaving such a big space and not living in it. Why insist on going to a few shabby little houses? Are you out of your mind, or am I? When I woke up, it was already 5 in the afternoon. Half asleep, I felt a little hand reeking out of my wits beneath me. I instantly snapped back to reality and grabbed the mischievous hand. What are you doing? Shen Qingwu blinked his innocent big eyes and said nothing. I pinched his little round face. Don't play dumb. I know you understand. Hungry, I finally understood. So it was this little guy, hungry and not wanting to wake me. So he planned to steal his own food. Unfortunately, he had no shame and struggled for a long time, but couldn't get anything out. All right, I'll get up now and make you some food. When I walked into the living room, I found the other 3 people there. As soon as Ruan Yuan saw me come out, she shouted, "Boss, come check the surveillance footage." The footage shows the scene outside, with scattered white dots falling from the sky. But it quickly disappeared. Ruan Yuan curiously asked, "Is that Willow Catkins?" "No, it's snowing." Wen Ning was from the north and immediately recognized what it was, but the other 2 native-born locals looked skeptical. Are you kidding me? This is Binhai City. I've never seen snow in my whole life. Only I know what lies behind this strange phenomenon. The 4th wave of the apocalypse has finally arrived. According to my memories from my previous life, this snow lasted for 3 whole days, and the temperature kept dropping. By the 3rd day, even peeing instantly froze me into an ice pop. No, I absolutely couldn't just sit and wait for death during these 3 days. I had to take advantage of the snow as soon as it started. Hurry up and get more supplies. Ruan Yuan, what do you sell in your school's supermarket? Ruan Yuan was stunned at first, but seeing my serious expression, she immediately started giving a serious introduction. It turned out that the shopping area at Binhai University was supposed to be a supermarket. It's basically no different from a small mall. Everything you need for food and daily necessities. Basically, students can buy everything they want without going out. So this trip to the supermarket is a must, but not now, we'll have to wait a bit longer. The next day after lunch, I gave Jiang Weiwei and Wen Ning the order directly. You two get ready, come out with me, and Qingzhou. Hearing this, Jiang Weiwei's face instantly fell. If she could, she would just want to stay in the safe house for the rest of her life. So she started acting cute toward me. Boss, can I not go out? I looked at her expressionlessly. Sure, but my turf doesn't keep idlers. Can I go? Is it really necessary to be so scary? Not even asking a single question is enough. I added, remember to wear more clothes. It's really cold outside. Yuan saw she was being ignored and was getting anxious. What about me? Your task is to draw. Don't worry. I won't just kick you away. Hearing this, Yuan finally breathed a sigh of relief. She really thought she had become the idler I had spoken of. As soon as she stepped out of the safe house, the snow on the floor was already up to her ankles. Heavy snow was still falling in the sky. The worst part was the bitter cold outside. The temperature was probably below zero. Even though Jiang Weiwei and Wen Ning had worn several extra layers, they were still freezing, their voices trembling as they spoke. It's so cold, boss. Why don't we just go back? Once we're fine, we'll be fine. Jiang Weiwei looked in the direction I pointed in confusion, and to her surprise, saw a huge thing, a heavy truck parked right next to the safe house. Jiang Weiwei's mouth was so wide it could fit an egg. Oh my god, where did this car come from? I chuckled softly. Where did it come from? Of course, it's your contribution reward. Actually, I had struggled with this before. Should I choose an off-road vehicle or an armored vehicle? But considering the current situation, I still think getting a heavy truck first is the most reliable. If something happens again later, it might just turn me into Optimus Prime. It's not impossible. You exclusive theater, Yo-Yo TV series exclusive.